The circumstances around us continually change. The people around us go through their own phases and stages and experience the same circumstances quite differently. In the years before television, people must have had better imaginations. I myself remember that television was limited to maybe a baseball game, a 30-minute program on Friday evening, possibly cartoons on Saturday morning, all in black and white. Other than that, there were no screens. We had no money for magazines, and life was generally lived, not watched. Now, we read books and we played outside with each other, talked to each other, and if you were a student, you studied. My point is that we thought about our ideal life and imagined it. When our ideal life proved to have downsides and obstacles, we expected them. Why? Our minds were not filled with superficial and fast representations of what someone else's perfect life looked like. Perfection is an illusion. It's not coming for us. We might say that even if a day is perfect, it's only a day and it gives way to another day. And every day has ups and downs and things that go well and things that do not. Reality is always in a state of motion for us. The circumstances around us continually change. The people around us go through their own phases and stages and experience the same circumstances quite differently. Life is hard to pin down. And it's certainly difficult to control, as we all know. Now, someone once challenged a sea captain after a rough storm at sea. They said, "Couldn't you go around the storm?" The captain laughed out loud and said, "Look, we don't control the seas. We just sail them." Life is definitely a bit like that, changeable, with occasional high seas. Now, our faith life, whatever that may be for us, is the same way. At least it should be. If we have the exact same faith beliefs as 10 years ago or when we were children, and the exact same understanding of those beliefs, well, something is actually wrong. We might be spiritually stunted. Also, like our generation as young children, we should be mostly experiencing our faith life, not constantly comparing it to the faith life of others or fighting about the details. And also, like marriage, some days we will feel great about our faith life, and some days we will wonder if we even have one. But everyone has a relationship to God, whether they call it a higher power or Jesus Christ or the universe or what have you. We hear people sometimes mocking religion or dismissing it outright. I recently heard someone talking about the monks and holy men in an Asian country. And the report was that they were all terrible. It was all about money, and it was generally a joke. A first-person report, regardless of the filter, can be persuasive. So I looked into it myself. What struck me is that while their religion was different than mine, they looked generally just about like us. Like Christians, each one different, each one certainly at different levels of the journey. And no doubt, those men and women had some bad apples too. So then I concluded that the person reporting had never taken a dive into matters of the spirit. He could not possibly evaluate their spirituality because he himself did not have the experience of it. The lived life of those who prioritized matters of the spirit looked boring to him, flat, inconceivable. So he concluded that it had to be about money or something else that was unspiritual. Now, why do I say this? Because constant media exposure has told us what to think. People sometimes do not know how to think, and it leads to the most superficial experiences of life, just like the false reporting of all religious men in another country. Our faith life should be in motion, always changing, because we ourselves are in motion, always changing. And God is not relating to us in the present, not the past, and certainly not the future. We must ignore two groups of people. The first are those who mock anything spiritual because they don't understand it. They've not taken the journey, not made the dive. The second are those who tell us what kind of spiritual beings we are supposed to be. In the faith life, we will always be coming along nicely if we show up for some type of prayer every day and contemplate what we cannot see. Nobody should be telling us what we are supposed to look like or how we are supposed to look as spiritual beings. So, show up for some kind of prayer each day. Think for yourself with God. And if you do that each day, well, no doubt God knows and you are coming along nicely.